Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Casey, where we talk about market strategies, market conditions. How bad was the summer? How bad really was it? It was so bad, I got up this morning and I put on a fall shirt and a fall look because the summer was so nasty that I am beating this market to death trying to get into the fall. We need to get some more action going. But let's talk about how bad it really was, okay? First of all, sales were up okay. Inventory. And if you're looking at the screen and catching this on a podcast, the market was up in Fairfax County in the last 30 days, is up 18%. So it's coming back. The inventory is coming back. But if you look on the right, the contracts are not. The contracts were only up 6%. Inventory goes up. So we know that the contracts are not keeping pace with the supply. That's making it tougher. So year-to-date inventory, just up 14%. Sales for this year are down 6% in Fairfax County. Now think about that. I started to think last night about 3 o'clock in the morning, the chart hit me that I was looking for. That's what I was seeing in my sleep. If you go back to 2020, the number of sales in Fairfax County, single-family detached homes, between June 15th and August 15th, which is the summer, 2,100, 2,500, 2,400, even in the bad times of 206, 207, when the market was collapsing, we are still at 1,400 sales. Look at today. Look at what's happened. 1155 in 2023, 1139. Come on, 1139 last year. This year, 1173. Look at the difference between post-COVID and pre-COVID, back in the 17, 18, and 19, 19. So we're off by 34% of our sales compared to where we were. And historically, it's almost as low as it's been in 25 years. It's off from our peak, it's off 45%. So if it feels like this summer was really a drag, this summer was really a drag, okay? Now this is just Fairfax County, and I choose Fairfax County because it's a big sample, it's a constant sample, it's not like massively growing. So it's a good way to measure our sales. So if you feel like sales are down, sales are down. And that's the summer, okay? Now, again, as professionals, and as buyers and sellers, we have to know how to react in this market and know where the market is headed. And the reason why it's important to look at the historic numbers is that's where it's headed. It can't stay like this. As soon as interest rates come down, you're going right back up to 17, 1800, and that's the difference between today and tomorrow. So is it coming? Yeah, it's coming. Let's take a look. Let me switch this. Let's take a look at all the other counties. So Fairfax County up 17% for 30 days, 14% for the year to date. But look at Loudoun County. Look at Loudoun County's only up 11. Inventory's up 20% for the year. So if you look at that compared to last year, you see a lot of positives. Remember, last year sucked. I just showed you this, right? We just saw that. So last year is not anything to compare to. It's really the bottom where you want to compare it. So Fairfax County is off 27% over 6-year average. Loudoun County down 30. Prince William County down 34. So what does this mean? This means that there's a different market for buyers and sellers than we've been used to. You've got to know how to operate in this market. So when we're looking at this, sellers need to know the county information, then they need to know their town information, and this would be Vienna over 3,000. So if I'm talking to a seller over 3,000 square feet in Vienna, this is what we're looking at. Inventory is not up, it's actually down from 18 to 17. Sales are still down, way down at 11. So there weren't a lot of contracts coming in. And then if we look year to date, we're up 17%, but our sales to date are down 4% over the 6-year average. So sales are off. And there's no way to talk about it that if we go and operate like this is a great market, you're going to lose. And you're going to lose big. And the numbers we're talking about losing as a seller or a buyer is not $5,000. It's like $50,000. It's $100,000. It's $150,000. So we need to understand what the market's doing before we advise, before we go on the market. So we've looked at Vienna. Now, when we go into a seller, we have to break it down into what market are you actually in. And I want to show some things in this chart because I'm going to use it later. You'll see that if in the first column, if I own a house between $1 million and $1.25 million, I got a 50% chance, 50% of them are under contract. So that's a good solid market. Great market, neutral market, fine. 88% eventually sell. So down there it tells me how many are contingent, how many are pending, what the days on market is. It tells me all the information. Now, if I'm selling a house at $1.65 million, and now I'm looking at the chart right here at 1.5 to 1.75. See how that market is a lot harder? Only 30% of the homes are under contract. It's clearly a buyer's market. So what does this open itself up to? If I'm in a tough market and somebody walks into my house and says, I want to buy a house, contingent on sale of my house, and I'm looking at it going, your market's pretty solid, mine sucks, then we're more apt to take that contract. So that's going to be a conversation we're going to have in a few seconds. But we need to know where we are and where the buyer's market is that's coming in. But critical for a person that's getting ready to go on the market to see this chart and know where they stand, how many homes are listed, and what competition is, and how many are pending. Justin and I just did a study that of all the homes that were listed in July, only 30% were sold in that first 7 days. So that used to be 95%. 95% was what it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Not today. It's only 30%. So that's why we need to be a lot smarter, a lot more careful what we're doing. All right, here's the strategies, okay? Now, buyers and sellers are different animals in the real estate market. We're not just one group. There's a buyer group and there's a seller group, and there's a very different group. Buyers need buyers agents who are sophisticated in working with buyers, finding homes, negotiating contracts, buttering up listing agents. They're professionals at what they do. Are they important? They are critical to a transaction going successfully. Okay, so let's put our buyer's hat on for a minute. Got a buyer's agent. What are they looking for? They're looking for homes sitting on the market for 30 days. Why? You have total control of that guy. They made a mistake. For whatever reason, they're sitting on the market. So if I'm a buyer's agent and I'm talking to a buyer, we're looking for houses that have been on the market for 30 days, 45 days. That they have dated interior. All they really need to do is paint it and put hardware on it and put some lighting fixtures. The house would look beautiful, but they didn't. So it looks like trash. It looks dated. We want that, right? We want to inspection that house. When the inspector is done, we have leverage over the seller to say, you got $10,000 to fix it up or $15,000 to fix it up. And if we don't agree, then I'm going to kick out the contract. You have to go back on the market and you're going to lose like $40,000, $50,000. See, the buyer has control if you have the inspection. So, as far as the buyers are concerned, they want the inspection. The sellers, we don't want inspection. Whole different ballgame, right? So if buyers want to find a home sitting on the market for 30 days, as a seller, we want to have sold it in 10 days. We want that thing sold in the first weekend. So the goal is only being met by 30% of the homes right now, okay? They want dated interior. We want to fix it up. We'll spend the $10,000 that are going to return us $100,000, right? Get top price. So as a seller, we want it to look transitional. We want it to look nice. Nice paint, nice interior. We don't want an inspection. The buyer wants the inspection, right? I don't want somebody bending us over for $15,000, $20,000. Contingent on financing. You want it contingent on financing. Why? Something could happen. You could lose your job. Something could happen. If it's not contingent on financing and it kicks out, you lose your job because you can't get financing, you lose your deposit. A lot of money at risk. Okay? As a buyer, and now this is it. I was just in talk with Donnie Sampson, who runs this whole show. We were talking about, sales. He goes, the move-up market isn't here. They're just not here. They used to sell their house and buy another house. I said, Donnie, it's here. It's back. It's coming right now. Right now, that's what people are doing. They are buying homes contingent on the sale of their home. Okay? We haven't been able to do that for 5 years, but we can do it now. Why? Because 70% of those homes are just sitting on the market stale. So we got a big shopping group. We got a nice market to go buy something. So again, a buyer wants contingent on a home sale. A seller does not want that. But I'm going to talk about that because we're in a different market. We need to be thoughtful here. When I talk about the 30-day protocol, that's going to come back into play. Go over on the buyer side. A buyer wants an escalation clause. A buyer wants to say, I'll give you $5,000 more than the next closest guy. A seller, they don't want that. They want highest and best offers only. Now what happens is somebody will come in at 1.9, 1.911, 1.915, 2 million. He's 85,000 over the next highest offer. It's nice. So the sellers want highest and best. The buyers want escalation. So you need to know what side of the pool you're on. Now the last one is the one that makes me the maddest. And I mean sellers are falling for this. If you're a buyer, you want an off-market sale. You want to come to Samson Properties, go to Compass, go to some of these places and go, hey, what do you got off-market? Now, some sellers actually doing it or selling it. They shouldn't, but they do. Why would a buyer want to get an off-market house? The competition's gone. Would you rather bid against 100 people or 8? If they try and sell it themselves, Compass only controls 8% of the market. So if Compass takes a house and says, I'm going to just market it to our agents off market, I'm marketing it to 8% of the market. Now, if you're a buyer, would you rather they're marketing to 8% of the market or 100% of the market? The 8%. So you see, the buyers want that off-market sale. The seller wants it exposed not only to everybody looking for this house, but the guy in McLean that's looking for a similar size and age house that's going to pay $500,000 more than the Vienna house, we want him too. So, you're using geofencing and Google Ads to get those buyers over here. So it's not 100% of the buyer pool. It's 120 or 150% of the buyer pool that you're going after. You're going after, the sellers are going after people that are not even looking in their market. That's the big difference today, whether you're a buyer or you're a seller. Now, we need to be, as sellers, and I'm a listing agent, and I have buyer's agents, but I'm a listing agent. If we have sellers, we need to be a little more thoughtful than we were before. We need to understand the market, right? So in April, May, we'll have a house that'll come on the market for $1.8 million. And somebody will go, oh, I love it. I want to bring in a contract on Friday. Non-contingent, $1.85 million, no home inspection, no nothing. We'll take it. Now, the Casey Samson team of March and April and May would go, sorry, we'll see you on Monday at noon. Because the bids could go to 1.9, 1.95. We have plenty of market buyers in the buyer pool. We'll wait. Casey Samson team of August? How much? When? Yeah, right. Really? Well, ever seen Fargo? In Fargo, the guy goes, well, I'll see what the manager says. He goes, I've never done this before. But so, we're doing that. We're coming back on, well, I'll see what the seller says. Says he's never done this before, but we'll go ahead and take it. Why? because it's a different market. We don't have 5 guys lining up. We don't have 6 contracts coming in. We don't have all the activity that we used to have. You need to look at an offer and say, no risk if I take that offer, big risk. If we go on the market at 1.8 and it doesn't sell and we're running 70% and it sits for 20 days, 30 days, that 1.85 is gone. In fact, we're going to look right down the barrel of 1.75. So the risk of holding a property, not accepting a really good contract now versus then is huge. I mean, we could be looking at losing $100,000. I mean, right down the barrel of $100,000 loss. And that's why I know that, I think even my team, other than Johnny G loves my stats. He's all of it. Paris loves the stats. Everybody else gets a little bored of them. But that's when you got to look at the stats. What does the market say? The market says 1 out of 8 houses is going under contract. We'll take it. We got you. So we need to know, is the market active? Is it slowing? Is it speeding up? Now, as we speak, next month I come in here, it could be totally different. Interest rates are starting to come down. Inventory is going up. So the question that we have is, if inventory starts moving up, what are the sales doing? Are they going like this? Are they going like this? See, Donnie and I argue all the time. If interest rates go down, historically, inventory goes up. The buyer pool doesn't keep pace. Prices come down because there's more competition with the inventory. So that's the age-old question. The only one that can answer is every Wednesday morning and Friday morning I look and see all the stats and see what's happening. You've got to stay up to date on a weekly basis over what the market is doing. Because I got to give people advice that could cost them $100,000. So, again, the buyers, look for something sitting on the market. Sellers, we want to sell in the first 7 days. Buyers, find something dated. Sellers, let's put it in perfect condition. Buyers, I want to inspect this bad boy. Talk you down. Sellers, no inspection. No financing contingency. No home sale contingency. Unless I'm sitting on the market for 20 days. And now I'm looking at it going, that home sale contingency looks good. Your home's easier to sell than it turns out mine is. Okay? So now we'll start considering it. And that lends us to this. Okay, this had to be dusted off from 2019. All our houses were going under contract. 95% of our houses were under contract the first weekend. Didn't need to even worry about the second weekend or the third or the fourth or the fifth. And then came July. So you had to dust off this protocol, and this has helped us with our listings this summer. So we put on the market, cast a wide net, hopefully get the contract that first weekend. Okay? Week number 2. If you need to have a contingency plan. Sellers, we want 7 days, but it's not happening. Only 30% of the time it's happening. So we need to be ready, not panic, ready. Now, this is just like being a football coach. When a game gets really exciting or really tense, football coaches get really calm. You have to be very calm and thoughtful about what you're going to do. You can't be a fan and get excited. Same with real estate. You cannot get upset, excited, emotional about it. You got to remain calm. Okay, we didn't get it. What's step 2? Step 2 is go back to all the people who have seen it and start probing them on why didn't you put it in a contract? What's the matter with the property? What is going on? Are you thinking about it? Still thinking about it? So in week 2, those buyers really didn't want to get into a bidding war, but sometimes we'll find 2 or 3 buyers that will say, I really like the house, I just don't want to get in a bidding war. Well, there is no bidding war. Why don't you come on in? Bring your contract in. I think you can get a good idea. Give them all the great things about the house. Try and get the come-on-backs, those contracts in. Now what happens is sometimes you get 2 contracts. 2 of those buyers, they didn't want to get in bidding war. They both bring in contracts. Before you know it, it's a bidding war. Okay? Didn't want it, but they're in it. So that's what happens on week 2. There's a strategy for week 2. Week 3, it's time to consider we will consider a home sale contingency. Now, here's where listing agents have to be very smart. Somebody came to me and said, we're going to accept this, it's contingent on sale of a house, like you said. And I said, what's the price of the house? And I don't know. What's the price of the house they're going to list? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Okay? You need a market evaluation of the house they're going to list. So let me give you an example. We had a $2 million house. Person wanted to buy the house contingent on the sale of their home. I looked at their home. They're going to put it on $150,000 more than I think it's worth. So I said, no, we won't accept that home sale contingency. It's definitely worth that. Fine, and put in non-contingent. They removed the contingency. They went to settlement. That was 2 months ago. That house is still sitting on the market unsold. Still sitting there. And my sellers, had we accepted it, we would have still been sitting here 60 days after we should have gone to settlement. And there's no guarantee that house is ever going to sell. Not at that price. So, again, you need to, at this point, at week 3, we need to sharpen our pencils and say, okay, if you give me my price, I'll give you your terms. Because let's face it, by 3 weeks, you're starting to talk your price down. So I still want that higher price. Now I may have to take a little bit of risk. I may have to look at your house that you need to sell somewhere else. Guess what? Let me go back. Let's say that I'm a $1.65 million house. My market, 20% of it is under contract, 29%. Let's look at the market, the smaller market, $1 million to $1.25 million. 48% of those homes are under contract. So their market is actually better than my market. And I can determine that that house should be 1.15. And we'll sell at 1.15. I said, okay, we'll set it at 1.15 today. And if it doesn't sell within 2 weeks, it goes to 1.1. And if it's worth more, they'll bid it up. So we got to talk them into that. So, yeah, okay, I got it at 115. Their market's better than my market. Their house is priced correctly. It looks great. That should be an easier sell than my sale. I get $50,000 premium when I sell my house because I'm going to give you your terms. You're going to give me my price, okay? So we need to be more thoughtful about taking the extra step of maybe we'll take a contingent contract, you know? So that's week 3. Week 3 doesn't get an offer either. It still doesn't do it. Okay, now it's time for price adjustment before somebody brings in a contract that's $50,000 to $75,000 cheaper. Let me give you a perfect example. We're at 1.2 million, couldn't get it for whatever reason, double yellow line, blah, blah, blah. I know that if anybody brings in a contract, it's probably going to be at 1.1 or really light. So we dropped the price $50,000. We get contracts in at 1.15, a little over that, right? If I didn't move the price, that whole buyer pool was gone. They never would see it. So at some point, the contract's coming down here. So you got to beat the market, adjust your price so the new buyer pool gets to see what you're doing, and every time contracts come in. We have not missed on that last phase. So, we don't get them on the first day. The second time, we have a plan for week 2, we have a plan for week 3, and we have a plan for week 4. And we never have had week 5 because as soon as you drop the price, then everybody's been looking at it, plus the new buyers jump on it. Now, the seller may say, it's worth more than 1.15. Well, if you have everybody in the market looking at it and you dropped it to a bigger buyer pool and you know everybody's coming in looking at it, whatever the highest contract is, that's what it's worth. That's what the market says it's worth today. Now, you have 2 choices. We have 2 choices. We can say, I'll wait. Okay, here's the problem. As inventory goes up, prices get soft. They've already dropped 6% from the spring to the summer. They've dropped 6%, and they're going to drop more. So the longer we wait, we risk, the lower the price is going to be. We're going to wait? Hell no. Hell no. We're going to find out what it's worth today, because I am going to tell you it is, August 28th. They're going to start dropping interest rates, and they're going to drop them 3 times. If you look at our interest rates versus England or Europe or some of the other places, our inflation versus interest rates, we are way high. We are at least a point too high, if not more. So once they say the tariffs are not creating inflation, then they'll bring the rates down. When they bring the rates down, you'll see the inventory going shooting up. It'll shoot up. And when that goes up, there's the competition. There goes softer prices. I'm going to throw something at you. Property values did not go up between 2013 and 2019. They just sat there. Same thing. Low interest rates. Plenty of inventory. When there's a lot of inventory, you got to watch out. Okay? So that's where we're headed. So is it a tough market? Yes. Do we need to be realistic? Yes. Do we need to do all the things on that seller side? If we're listing, yes. If we want to work with buyers, 70% of the houses are sitting out there waiting. So it's a great time for buyers, especially buyers that want to move up. So I would say that the opportunities in this market are massive if you know how to work the left side, and for sellers, if you know how to work the right side. You've been listening to Coffee with Casey. We've talked about market strategies, what the market is, where it's headed, how buyers, how our sellers operate, what the 30-day protocols are that we need in place right now, because that's what 70% of the market is experiencing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're in for a tough time. I want to thank Justin Donnelly, because without him, Samson Properties does not look like Samson Properties does. All the studio, all the lighting, all the pictures, everything he does is so professional, it makes our company #1. And we've shot to #1. His brother's in the print center, printing the hell out of everything. That made us what we are. And this kind of studios that he presents us with, and the ideas and information, and getting this out to the agents and the sellers, is absolutely world class. So I really want to take time and thank Justin for putting together the studio and handling that for self. All right, my name's Casey. If you're looking for me, I'm at Casey@CaseySamson.com or 703-508-2535. I'll see you again next week. Bye now.